going to be looking at ethylene as a plant hormone, as the primary plant hormone, and how it is used, right, and for the commercial fruit industry mostly. So just a quick discussion, right? So ethylene is a plant hormone involved in the regulation of various physiological processes, including fruit ripening, right? So it's gaseous in nature, and its ability to stimulate ripening and its effects on respiration, making it valuable to the fruit industry for ripening fruits, extending shelf life, and synchronizing fruit ripening for market demands, right? So that's its commercial use. So the gaseous nature. So we know that ethylene is a colorless alkene. Sorry, ethylene. It's an alkyne. Why is an alkyne right here? Ethylene? Hmm. Why is there an alkyne being shown here? It's a great blunder. Right? So it's supposed to have it's supposed to have a double bond, right? So it's gaseous in nature, right? And diffuses through air and penetrates fruit really, really easily. These are important things you need to know about this topic. So if it comes, these are things that you need to know. It's a small discussion, so they can ask you literally anything about it they want. Alright? So the effect on respiration now, right? Ethylene influences fruit ripening primarily by stimulating respiratory responses, right? So it allows for enhancing the rate of respiration, right? And that will increase production of ATP for metabolic processes. And the metabolic processes now will actually accelerate the breakdown of starches into sugars, right? Softening the fruit and the production of flavor and aroma compounds resulting in ripening. So the creation of esters. So we break down the fruit, the sugars, right? Some of them are broken down into acids, right? Are you guys following?
Yes, sir.
So think about the chemistry. Well, I don't know if the chemistry behind of it will help, but I'm going to mention it anyways, right? So when you break down the sugars, sugars are ketones and aldehydes. Sometimes the aldehydes are broken down further by enzymes into acids, right? When the fruits, right, or when the plant cells go through respiration, they produce ethanol. Ethanol and acids go through esterification to produce the esters, giving the fruits its aroma, right? So esters, all those smells, esters, right? So looking at those type of stuff, right? So what ethylene will do is ramp up respiration, and respiration requires sugars. Therefore, the cells will start to break down the starch in order to use the sugars for respiration, and those sugars now will be in the form of softening the fruit now and making the sugars more available, ripening the fruit. All right. So looking at that, how ethylene is used in these cases. All right. So there are receptors. Okay. So let's have a move on. Right, so step by step process now. First we harvest the fruits, right, at pre climactic stage, right? So we're looking at this, right? So we harvest the fruits first, then we store them. We tend to store them where conditions such as temperature, humidity, and gas concentrations are controlled to slow down the ripening, right? When fruits are ready for market, they undergo a controlled ripening process facilitated by ethylene. So ethylene gas is introduced into the ripening rooms or chambers where the fruits are stored. The concentration of ethylene is carefully regulated to ensure optimal ripening without causing damage to the fruits. Right? Exposure to ethylene, fruits are exposed to ethylene gas, right? Either through direct application or ethylene releasing compounds such as ethylene generators or ripening agents. Right? So it's either we use these different agents or we use ethylene directly. Ethylene diffuses into the fruit tissues and binds to specific receptors. Go ahead.
So, sir, basically, how all we need to know is that ethylene stimulates root respirations, food respiration. So, we don't know, we need to know like the details of it, right?
Not necessarily. Alright, but if them ask, the thing is no, not necessarily. Let's just say that. Let's just leave it at that. Not necessarily. Alright, so you just have that. So just know what it does. It's a hormone, so it's the same thing like the pancreas, what insulin do. Same thing, what ethylene do. Right? That's just what we need to know. Right? So when the ethylene diffuses through the membranes, it binds to receptors just like how right hormones work. Right? And it's gonna cause the fruit to start ripening. Right? So respiration is gonna start to become more rampant, right? So key ripening processes include the conversion of starches to sugars, softening of the fruit texture, changing in color and flavor development and aroma production. This here, respiration and ripening, you need to know that entire process. Alright? You need to know that. Just generally what happens. Starch turns to sugar, fruit softens, color changes, those type of things. Alright? Monitoring now with ripening process is monitored closely as parameters such as color, texture, and sugar content and aroma are assessed, right, to determine the readiness for market. And then once the fruits, right, have reached desired stage, right, they are packaged and distributed to markets for sale to customers, right. So what are the advantages of using ethylene, right? So we have uniform ripening, right? Ethylene allows for the synchronized ripening of fruits using uniform quality, while ensuring uniform quality and appearance. Right, they extend shelf life. So controlling ripening with ethylene can extend the shelf life of fruits, reducing spoilage and waste. What this basically means now is if we know that ethylene is causing the ripening, we can know how to inhibit ethylene, right, to prevent ripening. So that's what we generally do on large ships going across the Atlantic and the Pacific carrying fruits, right? Or are these still fresh, right? Because they inhibit ripening, and then when they reach the docks now, they induce the ripening and then send them out. So market readiness ethylene facilitates the timely ripening of fruits to meet market demands and improving efficiency in the supply chain. So what are the major conditions, right, that we use for ethylene in commercial ripening of fruits, right? What are they, right? Looking at generally these, right? This is just a lot of information, by the way. So the ripening rooms themselves, right, have regulated temperature, humidity, and ethylene concentration, and they're really ventilated, right? So it's usually the main temperatures appropriate for root ripening is typically around 15 to 25 degrees Celsius, right? Depending on the type of fruit, usually cool, right? Humidity, we tend to have high humidity, right? And then we regulate the ethylene concentration depending on whether or not we want it to ripen quickly or slowly, right? And we do it to prevent over ripening or any type of damage, right? So we use ethylene generators or use ethylene, and we use ethylene centers to know that we've reached desired concentration, right? We need proper air circulation so that remember ethylene is gaseous, right? Therefore, the circulation will help to evenly distribute the ethylene throughout the fruits in the room, right? And we spoke about the uniformity, right, of the ripening process, right? We clean the fruits, right, thoroughly before ripening them to remove any dirt or debris, right, and pathogens that could affect the ripened fruits. So the riper the fruit, it has more sugars. More sugars mean more pathogens and bacteria can feed on these sugars. So we need to clean the fruits before we actually put them through this ethylene process, right? And we remove any type of damage or spoil fruits, right, to spread that could spread any diseases and maintain the condition of the air, right, air circulation, right? So we basically remove any type of spoiled fruits to make sure that it doesn't spoil the entire batch, right? So we monitor it and manage it. We adjust any type of issues with temperature, humidity, or ethylene concentration, right? And we use these different ventilation safety mechanisms and ethylene detectors to know how much ethylene is in the room and to make sure that it's ventilated properly. Because ethylene can actually affect health workers, right? So the ventilation is actually a key for those workers as well. And that is it for the use of ethylene in the fruit commercial industry or in the commercial fruit industry. Alright? That is just a quick discussion there on how it works. Alright?